Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me today. This will be probably the one of the last videos I do on Charlie and everything that's going on. But I felt this was kind of an important closure. I don't know if this will be the last thing I ever do on it, but I've, over the last 5 days, I find myself still incredibly angry and incredibly sad. And I've done a lot of reflection on it. You notice I haven't done any videos since, we've done some live streams over on Locals, but I haven't done any stories or my usual content in the last 5 days. I got to be honest with you. I don't feel like it. I feel like I want to stay mad, and I feel like I want to stay sad. And I think after a lot of reflection, I think Charlie and having his life ended the way it was is only part of what's really got me kind of messed up. We've known that half the country calls us deplorables. And when I say us, I mean everybody that's not on the far left. They call us deplorables. They call us transphobes. They call us bigots. They call us Nazis. They call us white supremacists. They call us, I forget everything they call us, fascist, and it's not just on social media. It's also the news. It's also politicians. And we've known this is an issue for 10 years. And to me, it feels like the country has cancer and we're sick, and we know we're sick, but we just kind of ignore the cancer. And we're like, well, let's go out for ice cream. It's been, I don't know. I feel a little better today. Let's go out for ice cream and everything's okay. Let's just move on. And then we move on until we're coughing up blood and we realize we have cancer again. And then we kind of address it. And then we go out for ice cream again. And then we forget about it. And we've been doing this over and over and over again. And Charlie's ending wasn't really the thing I think that has got me all messed up. Maybe you guys are different. I don't know. What's got me messed up is that I have seen, and I'm not going to play any of the videos. I'm not going to play all the hate. I could show you posts that have 800,000 likes on it that Charlie was just the beginning. We need to keep going. And here's calls for other people. I've seen posts that say his wife needs to go as well because she'll teach the children, she'll indoctrinate the children with Charlie's own hateful words and rhetoric, and the children will grow back up. I've seen people post that, well, let's just end the children as well. Let's just wipe out the bloodline and and then we're done with it. I knew they didn't like us, and I knew for a long time they said they didn't like us, but there is part of you that believes, well, it's just politics. They're saying these things to rile up the base to get elected. They say these things to, get clicks. And then you realize, no, they actually are okay with killing us. They're okay. You hear stories in history. And I've heard the stories. You've heard the stories. It doesn't matter who did it, whether it was Mao, whether it was Stalin, it doesn't matter. Hitler, it doesn't matter. We've heard the stories of children being loaded into trains at the point of a gun, and the people that did it were fine with it. They didn't lose any sleep. We've heard of children being starved to death in Stalin's Russia, USSR, and people that went to bed fine with it. We've heard of the stories of Mao and how the children turned against their parents and physically helped drag their parents up to have public shaming and in some cases to be killed. And the children did it. And you hear these stories and you say, well, I don't know, is history embellishing this? Is history maybe making this bigger than it is? I mean, obviously they must have lost some sleep over this. They can't really be like that. And I have firsthand knowledge now today, over the last 4 or 5 days, of watching people wishing that are happy about Charlie, saying he's just the beginning, wanting to go against other not politicians, but other people that just speak on conservative ideas, like Matt Walsh, like Ben Shapiro, like others. I've seen them call for ending Charlie's family, the women. I've seen people saying that this is dangerous, what they've done to Charlie, because a lot of people are saying more people will pick up the microphones and start speaking what Charlie was talking about. And thus, there's more radicalized people that are going to be spreading Charlie's hate. And so we have to stop them. We have to stop Charlie's message. It wasn't just bad enough that they stopped Charlie. They're saying now we need to stop Charlie's message and we need to kill the people that are saying the same thing. Now, it doesn't matter, ironically, this actually isn't about the politics of this, even though it is an extremely political issue. It's about what happens when both sides are done talking. And from a lot of people on the right, the people like Matt Walsh that are just telling people, shut the fuck up. I'm done talking to you. You're evil and you should be eradicated. Now, when he's talking about eradicated, he's not saying we should kill them. He's made that very clear. He's just saying we need to eradicate you from the marketplace of ideas. We need to eradicate you from politics. We need to eradicate you from ever having power in this country. And the left says, well, we need to eradicate you by killing you. So what are the two outcomes? Because I put that, it's not a clickbait thing. You should be really afraid right now because there's only two outcomes from this and both are horrible. A, we're done talking to each other. And many on the right say, we sent a man with an olive branch to have these discussions with you, and his name was Charlie Kirk, and you killed him. So we're done talking to you. That's terrifying. Also, Trump has come out and said, we're going to crack down on all of it. We're going to find the funding. We're going to find who's setting up the rioting. We're going to crack down on all of this, which means we might have some of our rights taken away. He might impose new laws that will crack down on free speech. And many people are saying, well, we need to at this point because the free speech is saying kill our opponents. And then you've got the other outcome, which is we do nothing and we go back to having cancer and going out for ice cream and nothing changes. And that to me is the scarier thing of going back to business as usual, nothing to see here. Let's just move on while half the country calls us Nazis and fascists and racists and bigots and blah, blah, blah. I actually, I wasn't going to bring this up, but let me just go to my Twitter page real quick here. This is something I posted, and this is how I feel right now, okay? You see a little cartoon. One side has, knives in the back and has a stump removed and is bleeding profusely. And the other side has a little paper cut. And that side's saying, both of us have gone too far. Now apologize. On CNN, on MSNBC, they keep saying, well, Trump's firing up the rhetoric. Trump keeps saying it's the left's fault. Trump is not de-escalating. And they say it's Trump. And again, not trying to be all the politics, but we just have to look at this in the face for what it is. It is half of the country versus the other half of the country, half a line one way, half a line the other way. And at the head of one side of that is Trump. And the media is saying, you need to de-escalate. And Trump's like, it's not us. It's the left. The left are firebombing cities. The left are destroying cities with BLM. The left are rioting. The left are burning down federal buildings. And the right is, and then the left says, well, yeah, but January 6th. Yeah, but January 6th, only one person died. Not that that was good. And yes, January 6th was really bad. And there are still people in prison for January 6th today. But it seems like everybody forgets about, what was it, March of 2018, I think it was, in March, when a bunch of leftists attacked the Capitol. They were throwing firebombs. 50 police officers had to go to the hospital, and Trump had to go into the war room, the bunker, because they were attacking the Capitol with Molotovs and weapons, and police officers were hurt, 50 Secret Service agents or something like that. And Trump literally had to go into the bunker, and the media came out and said, the media came out and said Trump's in the bunker. He's supposed to be leading the nation, and he's a coward hiding in the bunker. Well, one side, granted, both sides are doing a little bit, but one side is gone nuts. And every time something happens like this, the media works furiously to try to paint the shooter or the activist or whatever as a right wing. So much so that even Grok and other news agencies get confused on what the truth is. And that this is part of the problem. We're no longer agreeing on what is the truth, what is reality. And when you can no longer agree on what reality is, there's no more conversation. Sam Hyde, I'm going to lead off today with Sam Hyde. As a reminder, before I get too deep into this, for those of you on YouTube that will watch this later on, I have Odd Man Out. That is my news channel on YouTube. It is the name of my Better Bachelor / stuff on Rumble. There is no Better Bachelor on Rumble. I'm over there as a user. But if you want to find my channel on Rumble, it is Odd Man Out. That is my channel. And I have that news channel on YouTube. That is where I put out my news content. I will be bringing some of that back because we've got to talk about this stuff. And I'm going to leave my YouTube channel, Better Bachelor, the fun, silly stuff. I'm not going to put all my stuff there, but I am going to fire up the news channel again because we have to keep talking about this. I'm going to play this by Sam. I'm going to play this by Sam. And I think it's important because this is how many on the left, or excuse me, many on the right feel about things right now. And he just dropped this video about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. And I'm going to play it because I think it's important that we do. This he put it out an hour or two ago. It's got, 70,000 likes on it. It's going very viral. This encapsulates much of what the right is feeling right now.
This is you. This is your sister, your wife, your daughter. But this right here is you. This is your sister, your wife, your daughter. This is you. This is your sister, your wife, your daughter. But this is you. And this is their reaction when you are killed. This is the joy they feel when your sister is raped, when your children are castrated, brainwashed to hate you. This is their ecstasy when the floor of the subway car is awash in your blood. This is you. Make no mistake, that is a symbol, that is you. But this won't last long. They can't help themselves because they're so ugly and so low that the only joy they can experience, the only good that they can envision is to take something beautiful or innocent down to their level. And when they can't do it, the next best thing is blood. This is Charlie's family, and these are his children who will never be able to hug their dad and grow up with a murdered father. And these are the people who smugly revel in this, and they won't stop with just Charlie. The boats are burned. There's nobody coming to help. The barbarians are at the gate. This is the fall of ancient Rome that we are living through currently. And what happens in the next 2 weeks is going to determine the future of mankind. That's not hyperbole. That's just how it is.
Now, when he says this, I think he is correct on one thing. Sam eloquently expresses something. The next 2 weeks, either something horrible is going to happen or nothing is going to happen. And in both cases, that's horrible. That's terrifying. Today, I'm going to read through mostly conservative reactions to seeing what's going on, because I want you to see that the side that always says we need to have dialogue, the side that says we both need to tone down the rhetoric, the side that says we need to sit down and have conversation, that side is done talking for the most part. That side is done. And when many conservatives have said, we sent the olive branch, we sent the conversationalist, we sent the person to share ideas with you, and you shot him in the fucking neck. So I'm going to read down through many of these because I want you to get the tone of, we know the tone of the left. Right now, as it is, Bethesda just put out a video game clip of saying Happy Kitty or something along those lines, where the kitty cat, it's from the game Indiana Jones, where Indiana Jones talking to his cat or something, petting it, saying, aren't you glad we got rid of those fascists? Are you ready to, get those fascists today? Bethesda, the video game company, said good kitty or happy kitty or something like that. Now, it started to go viral and they instantly pulled it down. But did the person that posted it get fired? No. Did the nurses and the people that are in charge of healthcare that were celebrating the murder of somebody, were they fired? No. But what if they found out that you're in the hospital and you're sick and they find out you're a conservative? Would they just let you die? Maybe. We don't know. Mike Davis is an attorney at MRD Law. He follows me, ironically. I appreciate that. It's always nice to be followed by people that are probably a lot more important than I'll ever be. He's on the Senate Judiciary Committee, and he's a law clerk for Justice Gorsuch. He's got about 500,000 followers. He says, after the killing of George Floyd, a serial criminal, Democrats burned, looted, and murdered. After the killing of Charlie Kirk, a Christian husband and father, Republicans prayed. I have 2 words for those in the media pretending Republicans are the violent ones. Fuck you. And this is a sentiment that is now traveling across X in many of its wake. You'll notice these are, I tried to pull prominent people, not just average Joe Schmo reactions, because there's millions of them. But I want you to hear the language of our rulers. I want you, or maybe rulers is a bad word, of our leaders, although they seem to control too much of our lives as it is. So in many ways, they rule what happens to us. Now I want you to hear Jasmine Crockett, a member of our government, a member of our Congress. And I want you to hear her. Now, remember, this is after things have happened to conservatives.
But this is a war. This isn't a battle. And we absolutely will win this war.
It is a war. It is indeed a war. And I have to say, they have won some battles, Jasmine, but we have to keep our eye on the war, and everybody needs to pick up a weapon and get involved, because this is for the safety and lasting of the country.
I want you to, obviously, they zoomed in, whoever put this video together. Here you've got someone on MSNBC saying we need to pick up weapons. Again, remember, let's calm down the rhetoric. It's everyone's fault, everybody. It's Republicans and Democrats equally. It's everybody's fault. And I say, this is not from after Charlie Kirk. That is a correction. This is after what happened to Trump. And she says, we're in a battle. We're in a war. Pick up a weapon. And then when Republicans say it is the left driving this, they say, well, you do it too. Because Trump's saying it's the left fault, so he's not cooling things down. Remember, Jasmine nodded along with pick up the weapons. We are at war. Nodded along with that. Tim Pool. Now, again, I'm not saying he's part of our leadership, but he is a very prominent newsworthy. He's been on Fox News, whether you like his YouTube stuff or not. He's been on Fox News a lot. He's politically relevant. He said, I've never advocating severing ties over politics, but people celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk have crossed the line. Fence-sitting Tim Pool is now saying, we're done with this. It's over. Tim is now getting off the fence, which tells you something. I mean, it does tell you something when Tim Pool now is considered hard right when many of his ideas are actually mildly to middle left. I won't get into how he feels about many of the things. That's not the point. Tim also says we've already canceled events due to security issues, having an increase in death threats. Destiny, and you guys know Destiny, super cuck Destiny on the left. Stephen Bonnell, I think his name is. Destiny is saying to encourage more assassinations despite the fact that everybody is on edge. And here he is, Bonnell on the left, hyping things up. Again, everybody, let's cool this down. We're past that now.
Out the crime statistics? Not exactly like.
You need conservatives to be afraid of getting killed when they go to events so that they look to their leadership to turn down the temperature. The issue is right now, they don't feel like there's any fear. Like, I don't know. It's like memes. It's just memes to everybody, I guess.
I want you to hear that one phrase again, because that's the one that struck so many people as weird. Listen to this phrasing again.
When they go to events.
Not exactly like.
You need conservatives to be afraid of getting killed when they go to events so that they look to their leadership to turn down the temperature.
So to get conservatives to turn down the temperature, you need to threaten and kill conservatives. Now, he didn't explicitly say to kill them, but
the issue is right now, they don't feel like there's any fear. Like, I don't know. It's like memes. It's just memes to everybody, I guess. I don't know.
Well, the whole point is that he's not cooling things down. He's literally saying make them afraid so that they cool things down. Now, if you ask me, that doesn't make any sense. Cool things down, so make them afraid for their lives to cool things down. That is terrorism. Like, you don't get to just say, hey, you know what? Let's keep killing them until they tell us to turn down the temperature. Again, both sides are escalating now very quickly. Elon Musk, I'm not going to play the entire clip, but Elon Musk, who is arguably the biggest financier / proponent of the right, basically just came out the other day and said the left is the party of murder. Now, I don't know about you, but when you're at this point, when you're at this temperature, saying the other side is the party of murder, I think we can say the conversation is ending, right? Can we say discussion, middle ground, reasonable discourse is kind of gone now? And I think it's only because the right has seen how far the left will go in earnest. And it's not, ironically, it's not the killing of Charlie Kirk that triggered this. It is the reaction to the killing of Charlie Kirk that is triggering this. It is the fact that for a man that was a Christian, a father, a husband, and the man that was sitting down and they, of course, are out lying and clipping Charlie out of contexts. And they're saying, by taking him out of context, well, this is why we killed him. And many on the right are saying, you're taking that out of context. Here's the full clip of what he actually said. And the Democrats said, basically, fuck you, I don't care what he really said. I'm just going to listen to this one clip. I don't even want to listen to the full clip because it might prove me wrong. Of course, they're not saying that, but it might prove me wrong. I'm just going to keep repeating the lie. They did the same to Trump, the both sides, good people on both sides thing. They keep doing that. And now people on the right have just said, okay, I guess we're done talking. This is from Megyn Kelly. She shared this. This is something and wokeness. This is Oxford University. Oxford Union's new president calls the right cancers that must be taken out by any necessary means after celebrating Charlie Kirk's execution. Remember, this is the education system, and this is the education system here in the United States is doing the same thing. They've got teachers and university professors and people cheering this stuff on, cheering out an assassination. But this is in a different country in the UK, and this is their leader. This is their representative of the Oxford Union new president.
To effectively create change in the world we desire. And Side Prop will argue that at times there is simply nothing else that can be required other than violent retaliation. And this is a view I wholeheartedly agree with. The view that some institutions are too broken, too regressive, too oppressive to be reformed. Like cancers of our society, they must and they should be taken down by any means necessary. To effectively create change.
And he's talking about not only the people in them, but he's talking about the people that want to close the institutions because they have the left-wing ideology poisoning them. Obviously, Trump and many others have come out saying we need to dismantle the education systems because they are breeding intolerance, hate. And so we need to close them. And he says the people that want to close it need to be taken out by any means necessary. And to show you how deep this rot goes, this is maybe a little bit kind of off topic because, like I said, I was trying to show you luminaries and political leaders and people that are kind of newscasters, podcasters, other things. But this is from another country, not the United States. Remember, Charlie is American. Charlie was taken out by an American over American politics. To show you how deep, dark the rot is, a Toronto school teacher has been suspended. Now, notice they say suspended, not fired, not brought up on charges, only suspended, maybe with pay, I don't know, for showing the graphic video of Charlie Kirk's shooting to its students. Now, if you've seen what actually happened, now, if you haven't seen the video, I recommend doing this. I do recommend going to watch the full, close video of what happened to Charlie. I know it may be uncomfortable, but you need to have that reality drilled into your head. I don't know if the round went through Charlie's neck. At one point, it looks like it ricochets off his body armor and deflects up through his neck. You see a fountain of blood coming out of Charlie's neck. It is very, very hard to watch. It makes me ill. On Rumble, as a matter of fact, you can see me react to it in real time. And you can. It's a couple days ago. I posted, about it. It was a live stream that we changed mid-course. I want you to go watch that. You don't have to watch the one with my reaction. Go watch it because I do zoom right in. Because that's the same video these people saw and cheer. That's the same video these people saw and say, let's do this to everyone else. If I watched that video in horror. Yet they see the same thing I did and cheer. So go watch it. Watch it in horror. Watch it until it makes your stomach sick. Watch it until you start crying. I don't care. But that's the same video they watch and cheer. And you have to be aware of that horror, of that nightmare, to understand what these people think. Lot says, oh God, okay, where do I find the video? Right here on Rumble, right on Locals. It is, what did I title it? Hold on, I'll find it on my own channel. Just a second here. I'll find it for you. It's called You're Still Not Mad Enough is the thumbnail. And it says, breaking news, Charlie Kirk shot in the neck, pronounced dead. It's probably, I don't know, 30, 35 minutes. I pinned a comment down below if you want to see the moment it happened. Go watch it. Go throw up in your mouth a little bit. Go weep for the way Charlie Kirk was killed in front of his family. Go look into all the awfulness that the media hasn't told you about. And drink it in. Drink in the poison that is now in our country. You have to. You have to take in that hate. Not for them. Not for them. Let me be clear about this. Don't drink in the hate for them, because they want you to be sick. They want you to hate. They want you to be angry. They want you to burn. They want you to fight, because that's what they want. That's what they want. But that is not the best way to go about it. The best way to go about it is to live a life well lived, because that's what makes the left angry. The only way to beat these people is by joy and love. And, you know, there was a lot of tributes to Charlie over the last few days, you know, and they were beautiful. And of course, protesters showed up and they had their megaphones and they were cheering on. They can't stand to see you happy. They can't stand to see you well adjusted. They can't see you. They just can't stand it. And as Sam Hyde in this video says, they have to have you unhappy and as miserable and as sick and as poisoned as they are. And you can't let that happen to you. That's what makes them win. Okay, but this teacher, school teachers in Toronto, was suspended after showing the images of conservative active Charlie Kirk shooting to students. Several students from his class went home and complained to their parents, traumatized at witnessing the on-camera death, which they were forced to witness numerous times over. The students' complaints, their parents contacted the administration of Corvette Junior Public School in Scarborough. The school administration then put the teacher on leave starting September 12th. They didn't even do it immediately. They did it on September 12th. The Toronto School Board is reportedly also looking into the allegations against the elementary school teacher. These students were 10 and 11 years old who reportedly told their parents that while playing the video repeatedly for the class, the teacher gave a speech saying Charlie Kirk deserved this. He gave a speech on anti-fascism, anti-trans, and how Charlie Kirk deserved for this to occur. The teacher has been relieved of all teaching responsibilities pending the outcome of the investigation. How much of an investigation do you need when children are telling you this happens? Seth Dillon, as you know, is a podcaster. He's got almost 1 million followers. The threat is very real to all of us, he says, and not just in public. They want us to feel afraid in our own homes. And he shares a picture that somebody was sharing. I don't know if this was on X. I don't know if this was on Blue Sky, where a lot of this is happening. I don't know if this was on Instagram. This person says, reminder, Seth Dillon lives at and shared his address. Charlie Kirk lives at and shared the address. Matt Walsh lives at and shared the address. Conservatives are not doing this. Conservatives are holding vigils and prayer circles and remembrances and gatherings to remember Charlie Kirk. The left burned down cities. The left threw riots. The left during BLM over George Floyd, who was a criminal and had fentanyl in his body, destroyed $2 billion worth of property and killed between 30 and 50 people's lives. They killed 30 to 50 people, depending on how many people you want to assign or attribute BLM deaths to. The right is praying. The right is angry, but they're not hurting anybody. Let's not pretend this is both side isms. We're done with that. Let me bring this up here. This is from Reddit Lies. Reddit is so unbelievably radicalized that multiple subreddits have been banning users for condemning Charlie Kirk's murderer. So if you say, hey, I condemn the murderer of Charlie Kirk, that was a bad thing, they're banning you on Reddit. You must support and or applaud the murder of Charlie Kirk, or you're removed from Reddit. I don't know if this account exists anymore. I'm not going to show the name of it because that's irrelevant. And also remember, guys, these people are narcissists. They're raging narcissists. They love you to argue with them. They love if you try to get angry and try to prove them wrong because they don't care about the truth anymore. They don't care about being proven wrong because as a demoralized human being, you could take their face and stick their nose in the pile of shit that is the truth. You could stick their face in a pile of truth and they will stand up and even though it's covering their face, call you a liar. They're demoralized. You cannot prove them wrong. You're wasting your time. So do not go and get arguments with these people. Do not fight them. Do not try to prove them wrong because A, they will not believe you no matter what. And B, they revel in your anguish and in your anger. They love it. You just block them. If you see it, block. Block it out of your life or mute. Doesn't matter. And yes, you can say, well, I want to know what they're up to because they're unhinged lunatics. That's fine too. But do not let that hate soak into you. I'm telling you right now, do not let it soak in. From this post, Trump noms ordered by how urgent it is they be stopped by any means. This is after Charlie Kirk, by the way. This is recently. This is a recent post. Trump noms ordered by how urgent it is they be stopped by any means. Patel, Kennedy, Gabbard, Hegseth, Bondi, Bhattacharya, Huckabee, whatever. And then by almost any other means. And then at the bottom, try hard. Now back to the conservative side again. I'm bouncing back and forth for a reason. From Colin Rugg. Colin Rugg. Now Colin Rugg, he's got 1.8 million followers. He's the co-owner of Trending Politics. He's an investor. Very big voice on the right. He says, breaking, 2 men arrested for placing a bomb on a Fox 13 media vehicle in Salt Lake City, Utah. Adib Nasir, 58 years old, and Adil Justid Ahmed, 31 years old, have been reportedly been arrested. Salt Lake City Police Department Bomb Squad and the Unified Fire Authority Arson Bomb Squad say a real explosive device was found under the vehicle. Police say they found the device placed under a news media vehicle parked next to an occupied building and determined it to be real explosive device. It had been lit but failed to function as designed, according to the affidavit. The men are facing charges including threat of terrorism, possessing weapons of mass destruction, possessing explosive devices. Now, here's the real irony. When they book them in to jail, their race was recorded as white. Not Asian, not Middle Eastern. This goes down as a white man. So when people say the ADL says white men are dangerous, the most dangerous, when the ADL says it's actually white men that are the dangerous ones, this is why they say that. They record the criminal incorrectly so that the data is incorrect in trying to highlight who is actually the one committing these crimes. And then in news statistics, a year or two from now, they'll record this guy in the database as white and conservative, even though he's not either. And it messes up the database and crime statistics. They do this on purpose. Understand that. And this is from Salt Lake City Police Department. They're the ones that book them in. They mess up the stats on purpose. But the point I want you to highlight and take away from here, it had been lit but failed to function as designed. This wasn't a blank threat. This is a real moment where a news van for Fox News could have blown up killing people, and it just happened to not function. This is from September 14th, yesterday. The tensions are not cooling down. From a guy named Johnny Maga. He says, now this is in relation to that last story. When they went to arrest these two guys, these two Middle Eastern men, there were two flags flying outside. Let's go taco. And is he dead yet? Now, I would assume this is in reference to President Trump, but even if it isn't, this is the heat level here in the United States. Marjorie Taylor Greene. I know many consider her kind of wackadoo. I do not agree with much of what Marjorie Taylor Greene says or does. That's not my point. My point is to not say that I agree with these people. My point is to bring you out what our Congress people are saying. And as we already pointed out on Jasmine Crockett declaring we're at war and we need to get weapons, here's Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. There's nothing left to talk about with the left. They hate us. They assassinated our nice guy who actually talked to them peacefully debating ideas. Then millions on the left millions on the left celebrated and made it clear they want all of us dead. She says, I want a peaceful national divorce. There's no way that can happen because the cities in our country are blue and the countryside around it is red. This will never happen. There will never be a peaceful national divorce because you can't take the blue that live in New York and force them, or the blue that live in Texas and force them to live in New York, and the red that live in New York to live in Texas. That's never going to happen. This is not going to happen. It's a pipe dream. But she does say, our country's too far gone and too far divided, and it's no longer safe for any of us. What will come from Charlie Kirk being martyred is already happening. It is a spiritual revival building on the kingdom for Christ, but it'll happen on the outside, not within the halls of our government. Democrats are hardened in their beliefs and will flip the switch back as soon as they have power. And if you're expecting Republicans to fight against evil with the power they currently possess and end this once and for all, you're going to be extremely disappointed. This week, Congress will be voting on another CR, Biden's budget that funds transgender policies, not our own Trump policy budget that funds what you voted for. We had 9 months to get it done, but for reasons I don't understand or agree with, it wasn't the priority. Government is not the answer. God is. I will pray for the left, but personally, I want nothing to do with them. Turn your faith, your full faith and trust to our Almighty Savior, our Almighty God and our Savior Jesus. Tighten your circle around your family and friends and protect them at all times. But here you have another member of Congress saying, I'll pray for you, but I want nothing to do with you. The conversation between the two sides is ending, and it's business as usual. Remember in the beginning of this, I said there are two outcomes. Both are equally terrifying. Number one, the conversation is over and the rhetoric keeps ramping up. And when the talk is over, you only go hotter. You only get worse. Bad thing number one, the conversation's over. Where do we go from here? Bad thing number two, everything back to business as usual. Nothing to see here. Let's move on. Because there's a lot of people that are not okay with that right now. Matt Walsh, the voice of reason that I most agree with on the right. Now, a lot of things I don't agree with Matt with about family and marriage and divorce court and all that stuff. That's fine. But when it comes to at least political ideals, I think Matt is kind of pretty based. He's said multiple times, I don't care about what happens in Israel. I care about the United States, my country. If they want to do these wars, fine, buy the weapons from us. But we shouldn't just give them to them. I am a Christian and I'm an American, and that's what I care about. So in many cases, he does split from the right on sometimes the Israel stuff and some of the other things. And Matt has even said, I think the courts need to be adjusted. I think young women are not worth marrying right now. Matt is a pretty based individual. Matt and I kind of see eye to eye on many other things, even if we don't agree on everything. And Matt Walsh is just coming out and saying it. He's just saying it. I cannot unite with the left because they want me dead. They will spit on my grave when I die and laugh in the faces of my wife and children. There can be no unity with such people, but I will unite with anyone on the right. I hereby discard any grudge or personal feud I may have had with anyone on my side. Maybe we will pick up those arguments sometime in the future, but for now we have to stand together. And he follows up with plenty of people on the right have criticized me very harshly, but I'm quite sure that if I'm killed tomorrow, none of them will gloat or express anything but grief and sympathy. But on the left, they will not be able to contain their glee, and they won't even try. I'm sure of that too. And so for me, it's easy to draw the line between friend and foe. And then this Wajat Ali, Erica Kirk is using her husband's death to promote Kirk's vehicle of hate. His vehicle of hate known as Turning Points USA. Fascinating to watch this right now. And Matt just says, shut the fuck up. Now, if you know Matt is very eloquent with words. Matt can put out some pretty good arguments. When you get the guy that comes out with good arguments and good ways to put forth those arguments, when you have that guy just telling you to shut the fuck up already, the conversation is shutting down. Here's a few-minute clip from Michael Knowles. I do want to play this. Michael Knowles is, once again, a very good... again, you don't have to agree with his points on the world. That's not what this is about. You don't have to agree with Michael Knowles. Michael Knowles, like Matt Walsh, likes to share ideas. They are a well-spoken... Oh, let me... do I have Matt Walsh's? Let me play this first. This is Matt Walsh's response in video when he had calmed down, I guess. He says, Charlie Kirk, or Daily Wire says, Charlie Kirk tried to have conversations with you on the left, and you killed him for it. You're killing us in churches. You're trying to kill our president. You celebrate Charlie's death. It's time for good to fight back against evil, and that is now how the right sees this. They've played nice, They're done playing nice. This is minute 11. I will just play this through.
Over the past 24 hours, I've seen some in the media, some of the very same people who intentionally stoked murderous hatred against people like Charlie Kirk and Charlie Kirk specifically, now saying that we need to turn down the temperature and start having conversations. Well, Charlie tried to have conversations with you on the left, and you killed him for it. You're killing us in our churches. You tried to kill our president. You killed one of our greatest advocates in Charlie Kirk. You have been openly cheering for and celebrating and encouraging and committing political violence for years. Antifa, BLM, well-funded, highly orchestrated, widespread movements based in and fueled by violence. You made a hero out of Luigi Mangione. And you celebrate Charlie's death even now. It's too late to turn the temperature down. This is not a time to hold hands. It's a time for justice. This is a time for good to fight back against evil. It is time for the righteous to prevail for the sake of our country and for our families and our children and for Charlie.
I think it's well said. But again, when the voices of the reason, the left has lost many of its reasonable voices. As a matter of fact, many of them have said, I'm no longer part of the left. I'm walking away because I can't be on the same party with the rest of the crazies. So a lot of the left is actually now walking away. And the ones that are left are nuts. They're really going off the deep end. But now we're to the point where the conservative voices, the reasonable voices, the voices that tried to reach across the aisle and argue their facts and argue their points of view, realize they're arguing with people that don't care what the truth is. They don't care about you. They just want to silence you, and they will do it at the end of a rifle if necessary. Michael Knowles, I think, again, I don't agree with him on many things. I'm not asking you to agree with his opinion of the world. I'm asking you to listen to how the right feels right now. And these are religious men, very religious men, saying the gloves are off. The conversation's over.
But I don't agree that the immediate reaction to this has to be to just speak a lot more, to not tamp down any kind of speech. What we need to do, we just need to engage a lot more in the open marketplace of ideas. I think that is a totally wrong interpretation of what's just happened. Charlie Kirk did the best job it is possible to do in the most generous, gracious way of engaging with the left in the free marketplace of ideas. He did it literally in a wide open field many, many times. Anybody could come up to him and ask him any question about anything. He gave it the best shot. And the left killed him for it. The left murdered him for it. He did the most noble thing you could possibly do in the free marketplace of ideas. And what the political left has said, and it's not just the murder of Charlie. This has been going on for years and years and years. Threats and attempts at violence against many people on the right. And it's almost uniformly from the left against the right, reaching its horrific and tragic peak in the political assassination of Charlie Kirk. The left said, no, you want to come into the free marketplace of ideas? We're going to shoot you. Well, you can't have a marketplace if people don't feel safe to go into the marketplace. No one's going to go to buy the goods. You can't. You can't have a free and open and flourishing marketplace if people can reasonably expect a bomb to go off in the marketplace at any given moment, if they feel that they'll be sitting ducks in the marketplace. Marketplaces don't work that way because marketplaces need rules. Marketplaces need security. Marketplaces need order and peace in order to function. You can't have a marketplace if people keep shooting up the marketplace and the left keeps shooting up the marketplace.
I'm going to leave it there. He's got another couple minutes, but that's really the point I wanted to play. He said, hey, we can't talk anymore. We can't talk anymore. You guys are taking that away from us. Let me read the super chats before they disappear because they have a tendency to only scroll back a certain distance. Nobin fan says, $1, thank you, sir. This is reminding me of Kyle Rittenhouse. Even after he stopped them, even after the court case, the far left has still not stopped escalation. No, they still call him racist, and many people still think he shot 3 black people, even though they were white. They don't care about the truth. They care about using a message to further their own agenda. The truth does not matter to these people. Once you understand that, you realize arguing with them doesn't matter. Showing them the truth doesn't matter. Coming to them in good faith doesn't matter. They wished Charlie's 2 little babies dead so that they don't grow up like daddy and share the fascist message. When you're out there saying, you know what, they need to kill his wife and his kids just in case they turn out like Charlie Kirk does. There's no conversation with people like that. That avenue is done. And these people are nurses and doctors and lawyers and politicians and electricians and your grocery store cashier. They're all through us. We have a cancer in this country, and it'll probably kill us if we try to cut it out. That's the point that should terrify you. And it's still happening in universities and in schools and all our education systems because the left is not breeding. The left's birth rate, I forget what it was. I think I looked it up. The reproduction rate in the reddest areas of the country is about 1.9, 2.0, where full replacement level, something like 2.1. The red areas are still having families close to the 2.1. The blue, 1 point, depending, the more blue the area, the deeper the city is blue, the lower the rate. In some areas, it's as low as 0.9, which means conservatives are having 2 children per every one of the left. It means eventually they'll just disappear because they're not having enough kids. But there's a problem. They've taken over the institutions, and they're indoctrinating young people. And if you don't believe this, look at the young man that killed Charlie Kirk. Came from a conservative background, came from a Christian family, goes to college, gets on Reddit, gets on Discord, and before you know it, he's dating a dude that's trying to transition into a girl that's a furry, talking about how he wants to get Charlie Kirk. He'd been radicalized. They took a conservative's child and made him a leftist. That's what they're doing in these colleges. You go to look at Mao, you go to look at all this stuff, and they're radicalizing people. Mao did the same thing. The Hitler Youth, it's all the same. They take the kids and they twist them because they're not having any kids. Skyline says $2. Thank you, sir. Watch it to see what they will do to your family. Yes, this is who commies, socialists, fascists, Democrats do. But I repeat myself. Yes, go sit through the pain. I did multiple times until I couldn't watch anymore because I was going to be sick. Go watch what they did to Charlie and understand they will cheer your demise the same way. Roughneck says, hooray, alive one, bonjour fag. In France today, took my dad and grandfather to see the Eiffel Tower in Notre Dame. That's awesome. See them before they're burned down or become homeless encampments. Senior says, shared this 25 minutes ago. Brilliant 18-minute video. There's a link over on Locals. Guys, if you're on Locals, check that out. Thank you, by the way. Roughneck says, Sam Hyde has better analysis and is more eloquent than anyone else out there by a mile. And he's absolutely fucking right. I agree. I'm going to play his clip one more time at the closing for those of you that are joining late. Roughneck also says, boys, I think we got to start networking and figure out who lives near who, meetups, workout, job share, train together. That's what Locals is for. BetterBachelor.locals.com for you guys in Rumble. Links down below. That's what my community is for. That's why there's a little bit of a paywall. No bots. I have control. I'm the only moderator. I let most people say most things openly unless you're calling for, killing somebody, but nobody does that over there. That's what my community's for. That's why we have this, guys, to make some meetups. You guys keep saying, when's the retreat going to be done? I'm still looking for land that I can afford. Land is skyrocketed. But in the meantime, we can organize local meetups. Just post, hey, I live here. Anybody in the area, let's grab a beer. That's what Locals is for. I can't make everything happen for you guys. Make it happen for yourselves. Niall says, we're witnessing the effects of 70 years of communist infiltration into every single level of American culture. The rot is almost terminal at this point. I agree. It started back in the 60s. I mean, it started back even before then, but it really took hold in the 60s. Cass says $5. Captain Kirk, bold to go where no man has gone before. Well, if you think about it, Charlie's middle name was James, Charlie James Kirk. I think it was, wasn't it? Charles James Kirk? Pretty sure it was. Sloucho says conservatives should just give up on reproduction. Their children will end up getting raped or stabbed to death by the legions of savage Browns coming in, better not to be born at all. I disagree with that. Yes, there is murder from illegal immigrants, but statistically it is still very, very low. And you can be in an area where you're safe or safer. You know, let's not paint everything the same. You know, not everything is the same. Where I live, they vigorously support the Second Amendment. And if someone so much as reaches one finger inside my door threshold, I can turn them into a lead paperweight. Like, I could put so many holes in them, the police just give up counting at 300. And the most they'll do is say, well, have a good day, as they cart the lead-filled body off. There's differences between where you live. Florida is good. Tennessee is good. Texas is good. A lot of places are good outside of the main cities. Incoherent says, I don't want to blame the parents. It's absolutely not their fault. Demons corrupted his mind. But at the same time, had their parents or been more involved in protecting their child's morality and values, this wouldn't have happened. Maybe, maybe not. You know, a lot of young people don't tell their parents the truth. You know, you go to Christmas, you nod right along during the prayer over Thanksgiving dinner or whatever. You don't tell them about school. And in the meantime, you're banging a furry dude. I mean, I didn't tell my parents everything I was up to. Captain Jazz said, I don't know how to articulate this, but this lunacy began with feminism and weak simps. Yeah, I mean, 60s, 70s feminism. I agree with that. All right, let me continue on here. From Jason Cohen, Scott Adams says Charlie Kirk's assassination will go down as one of the biggest mistakes of humanity. I will wrap a bow on this kind of with some good thoughts. The Democrats do not realize how much they've ostracized just normal people who are not ghouls and who do not celebrate murder and assassination. This pretty much ostracizes anybody with any religious background. And, you know, Scott Adams is correct. The fallout from this is going to be bad for the Democrats, but always remember, as they lose power, which is ultimately their own goal, as they lose power, that's when they get the most dangerous. The LGHD TV movement is losing power. They're lashing out. They're shooting up churches. They're shooting up schools. They're shooting Charlie Kirk. As they lose power, that's when they get to be most dangerous, because in desperation, they will do anything they can to scare you into silence and or capitulation.
The Democrats are going to have a big problem, because they're going to have to figure out why everybody says this guy is an angel, but they've been acting like he's such a bad person they have to kill him. At some point, this won't apply to everybody, but at some point there will be a healthy number of Democrats who realize that they were on the side of killing an innocent man, meaning that they didn't act on it, but they were sort of happy it happened maybe. And then they're going to find out that he was nothing like they thought. And this will be one of the biggest mistakes of humanity. It's one thing to kill somebody because you're going to get something out of it. This was not that. This is killing somebody and getting the opposite of whatever it was you wanted, because you're going to get a lot of that. You're going to get a lot, and it's going to be the opposite of whatever you thought you wanted.
Andy over on Rumble says, have you seen Sean Head's post? I've seen a lot of her posts over the past couple days. If you have a link feel free to grab it and post it and chat, and I'll try to share it with everybody, or I'll read it. But Shoe on Head, Shoe on Head is kind of a lefty. She really is. And she's just like, I can't be around you people anymore. You're fucking nuts. You're dangerous. You're crazy. I'm going to read this by Grums. I'll wait and see if you can find that link. If you find it, share it, and I'll bring it up. I'm going to read now. Grums, if you don't know who Grums is, he's Mark Kern. He's a CEO and designer. He was the former team lead for the OG World of Warcraft. He's a producer. He made Diablo 2, StarCraft. He's a game lead. He's Firefall creator. He left the gaming industry to change things up because he realized how woke and how left the games industry was going, and he was done with it. I don't know his full story, but he was part of the gaming industry and had to leave. And I think he sums this up very well. And this is why I can say if you guys out there, and listen to me very clearly on this, because I understand how many of you feel. At this point in time, if you say to me, I hate Republicans, my answer can be, okay, I hear you. Like, there's a lot they do. I would never call myself a Republican. We're in agreement on that. You can say, I hate the Democrats. I hear you on that. I'm in agreement on that. But at this point in time, you have to look at which side of politicians is saying we need to find Christ. We need to remember Charlie. We need to remember the good things he did. And remember which side is calling for war and cheering on criminals and protecting the criminals that kill people, that are letting these criminals out of jail, that are trying to keep the borders open where criminals are raping and killing mothers and daughters. And then there's the other side that's against that. Now, all the other policies, you can say, I hate Republicans. Okay. But if we can agree that one side is actively destroying the country, and I think the other side is actively trying to save it, and even if their way of trying to save it is maybe misguided or they make mistakes, then I think you can at least say, I do feel like one side's good and one side's evil. And if you're saying the side is good, is the side that has the people cheering on Charlie Kirk's murder and wishing his children to die and his wife to die as well. If that's the side you're calling good, then I'm on the opposite side of that. And so if you call me bad for saying it's sad what happened to Charlie, if you say it's I'm a bad person for saying that we need to fix this country, okay, I'm your bad guy then. I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that. But for the sane people, for the regular people, for the people that are not okay with assassinating people they don't agree with, for the people that say, I'm not okay with you calling for the death of his wife and his children because you hated the guy so much, well, we're on the same side then. That's the side I choose to call the good side. I've chosen my side in this battle for humanity, for the soul of the country, for your own soul when it comes to the afterlife. That's the side I want to be on, is the good, what I call the good guys. You can be on the other side. I'm okay with that. I won't vote for your destruction, but I will try to destroy you. Not at the end of the gun, not anything like that. I'll try to get you fired for your job because you're ghoulish cheering on the murder of somebody. I will try to block your social media to the point that you become irrelevant and have no voice. I will no longer debate you because you're evil and there's no argument to be had with you. I will not take the same tactics that you did against Charlie or tried to against Trump or anybody else. I won't take those same tactics because those are a coward's tactics. But I will tell you this. If you come at me gleefully, not me personally, not me, I'm in no danger. I'm in no risk. I'm not high enough on their radar. But I mean, if you come for me and my ideals, I will do what's within the law of destroying you. And should you take the ability to destroy you with the law away from me, well, we all know what comes after that, don't we? And it's not good. Here's what Grum says, and I think he's right on this. And as the Democrats lose power, as they lose people because they're absolutely insane, they will lash out. This is far from over. Grum says the left just blew all their trust. Normies see a nice guy doing a simple debate, not a political speech, not leading a rally or riot, getting gunned down in 4K. Then they see a bunch of people, even their friends, cheer and clap and dance, and they ask why. Well, you see, he was evil, they cry gleefully as their eyes feral. The normie just stares at the screen. A clean-cut guy with a microphone is bleeding out horrifically. It reminds them of the scared young blonde they saw bleeding out on the subway just a few days ago, and a question forms. What did he do that made him evil, they ask. He said things, they scream back, a bit of spittle flying from their mouths. So you're happy they murdered him for talking? Yes, you get it now, claps their kid's teacher, their pilot, or their doctor. The normie is horrified. Someone they trust to their kids, to the health, or to their safety, is acting like a foaming, raging lunatic who wants people dead because they said something they didn't like. Do you realize how this comes across? This got 91,000 likes and was reposted by Elon Musk. And he's right. Normal people that aren't online, that aren't in the political talking spheres, they didn't see this, but now they see it. They see it on the news. They see it from politicians. They see people still blaming Trump and blaming the far right. And it doesn't make sense to them. Of course, everybody thinks everybody else is stupid. Plenty of sharp people out there. And I do want to respond because this makes a good point. 8 Salty, saying 8, says, Joker, if we do not stand up and fight them, they'll continue to murder us until there's none of us left. Okay, let me ask you a question. I'm going to put this on just me. What is that? Let me turn that off. I don't know what that was. Let me move me over into the center where my beauty can be exposed for all to see. Let me ask you a question. And I mentioned this the other stream. I'm going to mention it to you now. You're going to see news reports of, it was this agency secretly behind it, or this person was secretly behind it. It's a cabal of evil people. It was the deep state. None of that matters. None of that matters. Because even if you found out the truth, let's say you went digging and in your crazy internet search, you go to the deepest, darkest, dankest points of the web, and you see a little bit of evidence that it was really insert X. It was really this nefarious cabal of people. That's never going to see the light of day. Don't waste your time at that. Now, you can be smart and you can say, oh, this is really the deep state, or this is really this group of people doing these horrible things. Nobody will believe you. It's too late for that. Whether this is a psyop or the government trying to do whatever, okay, it doesn't matter. No one's going to believe you anyway. It's too big for that. Let's say you say, we need to take arms and fight back. Who are you fighting back against? Are you going to go down to the local hospital and say, is there anybody here that cheered on Charlie's death? I did. Bam, bam. That's not how this works. You're fighting yourself. It's cancer. It's everywhere. It's in your brain. It's in your heart. It's in your blood. It's in your bones. What are you fighting back against? It's yourself. It's millions and millions of people within the country. There's no leader to this. There's no head of anything. You go end Jasmine Crockett, they're going to use her as their martyr. You go back and I don't know, kill a professor at a university. Now the news is going to use them that conservatives are just as evil as us. It doesn't work like that. That's not how you fight this. Yeah, and I'm not saying this is what you're saying, 8 Salty, but there's other people that are saying we need to fight back. Where are you fighting? What are you fighting? It's all amongst you. It's your girlfriend's mother. It's your uncle's sister's daughter, whatever. It's all amongst you. The only way you purge this out is by having the right people get into the right positions of power that can change laws and change things. And here's the danger. They're not going to. This wound is going to continue to fester. You know, if you go back to my thumbnail, let me just change screens here again. If you go back to my thumbnail, there's 2 dangers. There's 2 outcomes. We stop talking to each other. The violence escalates. The news escalates. The media escalates. Social media escalates. People get assassinated. Fox News vehicles get blown up. And now we just live in fear. And now you have to wonder if someone's going to take somebody out. It probably doesn't happen to you individually, but you're going to see prominent people dying, and you're going to see the government starting to get more and more controlling. That's scary outcome number 1. Scary outcome number 2, nobody does anything. And in 2 weeks, they forget about Charlie. They forget about the cackling demons. They forget about everything, and we go back to business as usual, and the cancer keeps growing. I understand it. Yeah, and you know, that is a good point, by the way, Crimson. Conservatives are in power right now, and they're really not doing that much. They're trying to do some things, but they're not doing that much. How do you fix this? And that's just it. I don't think there's an answer yet. I don't know how you fix it. Close down the universities? Close? I don't know. Do you understand why I say you should be terrified? Because there's no off-ramps left. But the thing is, I don't even know where the highway goes. No, none of us do. None of us knows where the highway goes. We're driving off into the middle of God knows where, and there's no off-ramps anywhere. I don't know where this goes. For those of you joining us late, let me just wrap up, or those of you joining us after the first 5 minutes, let me just quickly mention this. I have my news channel on YouTube and Rumble. Of course, you guys are on Rumble, but this is later on for YouTube as well. Odd Man Out is my channel, my news channel on YouTube. It is my Rumble channel for Better Bachelor and news content. I combined it into one for Rumble. So if you're on YouTube, go check that out. Secondly, you can come over. It's $5 a month. It's $50 a year, but you know, just try it for a month. It's $5. It's enough to put us behind paywall. BetterBachelor.locals.com. Links are down below. As always, come over and join us behind the paywall. I am the only moderator. We have conversations like this all the time. We have the arguments. We have the tough conversations. So come on over and join up, and you can be part of whatever it is we're doing. I'm not even sure what we're doing over there, but we're talking about it. And lastly, let me go back to my news overlay here. Lastly, I'm going to play Sam Hyde again, because Sam Hyde eloquently speaks where we are, where conservatives feel they are, where people that are just not on the insane left, Sam Hyde shares it and speaks the truth. And I think it's a good reminder of where we are, because he shares the way many, many, many people feel right now. And I don't know where the off-ramp is. I don't know where we go anymore. I just don't.
This is you. This is your sister, your wife, your daughter. But this right here is you. This is your sister, your wife, your daughter. This is you. This is your sister, your wife, your daughter. But this is you. And this is their reaction when you are killed. This is the joy they feel when your sister is raped, when your children are castrated, brainwashed to hate you. This is their ecstasy when the floor of the subway car is awash in your blood. This is you. Make no mistake, that is a symbol, that is you. But this won't last long. They can't help themselves because they're so ugly and so low that the only joy they can experience, the only good that they can envision, is to take something beautiful or innocent down to their level. And when they can't do it, the next best thing is blood. This is Charlie's family, and these are his children who will never be able to hug their dad and grow up with a murdered father. And these are the people who smugly revel in this, and they won't stop with just Charlie. The boats are burned. There's nobody coming to help. The barbarians are at the gate. This is the fall of ancient Rome that we are living through currently. And what happens in the next 2 weeks is going to determine the future of mankind. That's not hyperbole. That's just how it is.
Let me put it back on me here. I'll wrap this up with this. I'll read the last couple of super chats here. And then I'll wrap things up with this. Hopefully a message that will give you some solace out of all of this. And then this will close down my couple videos that I've done about this topic, because while I do not want to move on, I do not want to forget, I do not want to stop being sad, I don't want to stop being angry. Life does need to continue on, but this needs to be a burning ember to keep your frustration and anger alive, I think. Dude Cat says, is that message from Sam Hyde clipped? Yes, it is. Could I share it? Just go to X at Sam Hyde. The full thing is on there. And it's probably on all of his channels, so wherever you follow him. You can probably go to YouTube and just type Sam Hyde and find him. Hyde. I'd like to send it around. If not, it's not a big deal. This is a video I clipped together. He put it in the beginning of his video, but I did some editing to make the pictures bigger. Like here, when he had this. Let me put it on the. Like here. No, not that one. Where's my. Gosh. There we go. Like here, I made this bigger. It was much smaller. I edited it to make the pictures bigger. You can find it on all this stuff. But you could play that part. It's the first 2 minutes of his new video he just dropped out. Amorpheus says, $10. Thank you very much, sir. I keep saying this, but it's a false flag, an op. In that canceling the left using their own tools, if you stare into the abyss stares back at you by Nietzsche. The government will use this division to erode the First Amendment. First and Second Amendment. They're wanting the people with the guns to go crazy and start shooting people so they can go after the guns. Now, you can say this is, a false flag, whatever. Doesn't matter. It matters how the country sees it and how the country views it. It doesn't matter really what's behind it. Now, you can stay awake and you can espouse your views and say things like you just said. I think that's fine, but that's never going to reach the masses. It never will. The CIA and all these other three-letter organizations, they've toppled governments with this stuff. If they use it against the American people, you might know the truth, and you can share it, and maybe 1 or 2% of the other people might. There's no way you're ever going to prove it to the masses. If this is the direction the country is going, I think many people will keep going right down that path. Leo says they want to extinct strong and stoic men because we fight the madness since they can't reproduce. They want to trans and confuse kids, create enemies and destroy American system. Create enemies and destroy the American system. It's a fight for our souls, bodies, and minds. Don't let Charlie's message die. I agree. Captain Jazz says, I want to respond with violence while simultaneously knowing it's exactly what they want so that the media can run crazy right-wing content and demonize conservatives for another 50 damn years. I feel the best thing to do is stand on my morals and beliefs and let them keep on until individual states make examples of their little movement. I agree with that. Yeah, you can't. This is part of the. If you do believe it's a psyop, if you do believe it's the government trying to take away our rights, don't give them a reason to take away rights. You can't. They will use it against you. Trust me. They've done it before. They'll do it again. Captain Jazz says, I want to respond with, okay, I read that. Sorry. LJ Bierman says $5. Thank you. Joker, been working hard a lot. Been missing your live streams. Just wanted to continue to show my support. Take care, my friend. Thanks for the $5, everybody. I appreciate it. Lastly, I will leave you with a good feeling for the moment. I know there's not much to feel good about right now, but I will leave you with this parting thought. Whether you're religious or not, Charlie Kirk was religious. And somebody posted this, and I found this very interesting and in many ways very poetic and beautiful, because it's so hard to take away something like Charlie's life, that gets taken away from us. And it's very hard to walk away with anything positive out of this. But understand, Charlie Kirk looked forward to the day that he sat by his Lord's side, and in cases, your Lord's side. And I got to be honest with you, I've been praying a lot. I've been asking for guidance. I was raised Christian, and I parted ways with praying and speaking to the Lord because he some things I thought I wanted and needed in my life didn't happen. And let's just say I'm on speaking terms with the big guy again, and I'm trying to make sense of it all. I'll say that much. I normally don't speak of my own personal religious journey, but I will say that moments like this, when you see so much proof of evil and it's hard to find proof of the good, there's good to fight the evil, so you have to go looking for the good. Maybe that's the best way I can say it. But somebody posted that Charlie Kirk was shot sometime between 12:21 p.m. and 12:23 p.m. And Charlie spoke very much about getting promoted to go see the Lord. And if you look up John, Bible verses, John 12:21 through 12:24, the time frame in which Charlie was shot, you can say it's coincidence, whatever else, but sometimes coincidence doesn't describe everything. In the book of John, now John is the apostle that was one of Jesus's closest disciples, along with Peter and James. And from John 12:21 through 12:24 from the Bible, they came to Philip, who was from Bethesda. Is it Bethsaida? Bethsaida? I don't know how to pronounce many of these things in the Bible. So forgive my stupidity. They came to Philip, who is from Bethsaida in Galilee, with a request. Sir, they said, we would like to see Jesus. John 12:22. Philip went to tell Andrew, and Andrew and Philip told Jesus. Jesus replied, the hour has come for the Son of Man to be glorified. Very truly I tell you, unless a kernel of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains only a single seed. But if it dies, it produces many seeds. I think this is very fitting because John 12:21 through 12:24 is the time frame in which Charlie was shot and died. And Jesus replied, the hour has come for the Son of Man to be glorified. Very truly I tell you, unless a kernel of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains only a single seed. But if it dies, it produces many seeds. And I've seen many, many stories this week. Now, whether they mean it or not, whether they're just speaking on social media, it doesn't matter. I've seen many, many people saying, Charlie, I'm going to go sit in church and take Charlie's place this week. And many people saying, you know what, I need to go visit church again, and I need to get right with the Lord because there's evil and wickedness in the world. And if Charlie is saying, I will go meet the Lord, and that's a promotion to me, and people are using this to find the Lord again, I think Charlie would be thrilled at that. And I think Charlie would accept his fate, that if you could rewind time, and Charlie knew he was going to die on that stage, but hundreds of thousands or millions of people around the world would say, I'm going to take up your banner. I'm going to take up your cause. I'm going to take up your place in church because of you, Charlie Kirk. Charlie would still get on that stage. Charlie would still catch that bullet. Charlie would still die knowing the changes that he made in this world. So whether you agree with him or not is irrelevant. Charlie believed it. Charlie lived it. Charlie died for it. And I think Charlie's okay with that. Maybe that helps you in your grieving process. Guys, I will leave it there. Thank you very much for joining me today. I'll have kind of normal, regular content back out in the next couple of days. We'll move on and touch on some of the other stories I've been sitting on for a week or two, and we'll move on from there. I hope this helps you. I hope it prepares you for what's to come in the days ahead, in the weeks ahead, in the months ahead, and the years ahead. I think things are going to kind of get dark pretty soon.